The 1950s saw a race into space between the USA and Russia. In 1955, both countries announced that they would release their first satellites into orbit. October 4th, 1957, Russia became the first country to launch the first satellite into space, and this was called Sputnik 1. On the 3rd of November 1957, the Russians put Laika the dog into space in an aircraft called Sputnik 2. This was to see whether animals could actually survive in space. In April 1961, Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man into space. He traveled on a spacecraft called Vostok 1. At the moment, the Russians were winning the race into space. So on May 25th, 1961, President J.F. Kennedy announced that the USA will be the first country to put a man on the moon, and they would do so within the next few years. And on July 16th, 1969, the USA launched Apollo 11. On board, there were astronauts called Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. 4 days later, on July 20th, 1969, the Eagle landed on the moon's surface. Neil Armstrong stepped outside and became the first man to walk on the moon. He would say the famous words, "That's a small step for man, but one giant leap for mankind." However, there are lots of people that think that the moon landing was faked. What do you think? Okay, so on Seesaw, I have included lots of evidence for and against the moon landing taking place. What you need to do is read through that evidence and say in a paragraph or two whether you think that the moon landing did take place or was it a fake. So read through all the evidence that there is and come up with your own assessment as to whether you believe the moon landing took place and why, or whether you think the moon landing was a fake and why. Okay, have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.